substantial and affecting you in more than a number of ways. You have to consider that this condition is there for your benefit. It will cleanse you. It will clean this planet and this space. It will align individuals, and it will create for you an outcome completely different to what you had before. Its impact is greater than now. A month from now and a year from now, you will see you have changed a lot. But as you clean yourself, you have to remember to use soap. Soap is the soul's organically aligning process. It's not just washing yourself with a piece of equipment to make yourself clean. You're going through a process of soul alignment, and it's happening naturally. You can see you are clearing your energy and its encumbrance. You are purposely doing this to create a frequency for the future. You acknowledge what you are doing, and you will soon find yourself comforted with the process and not so disturbed. Your soul is the inner frequency calling you home. It requires acknowledgement. You know, when you have flight and fear, you inwardly condense. You go finding the soul, your inner self, inner being. Now it's happening again. This is taking you home. You have the ability to become enlightened because it's taking you home, not when you pass away, but now you are living. There is seldom a time when you go through such an experience. It's asking you who you really are, what you are destined to do, and why are you not doing it. It's not creating conditions around you that confuse you. It's creating surety. What is uncomfortable is all the conditions you have created for yourself up to now. Your experiences are in the way. So you need to use the soap and clean them off. You need to wash yourself and wash these things away. You have condition, you have like dirt. If the condition is still around you, it's not resolved. Let me explain. You go through life's experiences and they go through you. Your energy becomes one when you are aligned. You'll seldom think about them afterwards because they have given you an experience and the experience is complete the moment the experience is over. But if you have dirt hanging around, you have something hanging around you, worrying you, in your emotion, confusing you, disturbing you, not giving you sleep. You have not resolved it. So those things you have not resolved are yours to resolve. And all you can do is resolve them. In this time when the soul demands attention, you must resolve them as quickly as possible, for they won't go away. They will become more and more obvious. How do you resolve them? You have to speak the truth of soul. You have to say inside yourself, this is not for me. Let it go. You don't have to say it loudly, nor do you have to say it to 100 people. You just have to put it out to the universe, your friend. And you have to let it go. You don't want this condition to keep you dirty. It's an organic process because it's happening naturally to you at this time. You're not forcing it or creating it. If you were, it would be a mindful process where you had goals and activities to achieve those goals. It's just coming up for you, coming out for you, and in your face. Whatever it is yours to work with and easily resolved. You know, if you align with the frequency of the soul and align with the universal energy, it will go by itself. One moment you have an issue, the next moment the universe has alleviated you of that issue. It has come to conclusion. It has disappeared. That may be a little bit difficult, like discussion and argument, and it may be just gone. Once you are clear, then you can follow the process of your soul. You can become an individual freed of condition, very clean, and you have used your soap wisely. You will know then you can't stop using the soap, for you have the freedom to be in your own power, and you have the soul in the same position as inside you, where you can touch constantly. You won't want any dirt at all. Once the dirt comes, you won't remove. You will wash and wash and wash. This is the one time on earth individuals become enlightened while walking on this planet. You have many, many stories. Individuals pass away, give you information. They became enlightened as they passed or returned from near-death experience. You can become enlightened as you walk. Your purpose then is to ensure that other souls become enlightened as well, that the earth becomes enlightened, that the universal energy becomes one with this planet. If you take a little time to use a little soap, you will enjoy your life. Do you have a question?
Yes, please. So you're speaking about the soul being in alignment when it's clean. So what is the difference between being enlightened and ascension?
Okay. You want to be enlightened. You want to be in alignment. Alignment is the energy where the frequency is in harmony with whole self. That is one concept. Enlightenment means when the lights go on inside. You become enlightened when you have a revelation of truth, pure truth, and it is acknowledged inside you. You have enlightenment because individuals who are enlightened are meant to be enlightened. Those individuals search constantly for enlightenment, and they will find it. You have ascension. This means moving from frequencies of density to lighter frequencies. Sometimes this means avoidance. You ignore the frequency of physical form to chase the frequency highest in your being. Pure ascension is the recognition of all vibration through all frequencies of the being. You will only become ascended when you vibrate, and all of you vibrates in harmony with yourself and the universal energy around you. You have this frequency occurring when you have souls supporting you, surrounding you, you cannot see. You have this frequency occurring when you have individuals contacting other spaces they cannot even perceive. You have this frequency occurring when an individual gives you information that is not possible to understand in human form. That is ascension. Ascension, enlightenment, and alignment. Alignment is the feeling of frequency. Enlightenment is the acknowledgement in the mind of pure understanding. And ascension is the vibration of frequency through whole self to meet the universe hand in hand. Do you understand?
Thank you. Now, there is something else that a lot of people have been speaking about currently, and they call it the Schumann resonance. So it has gone very high recently. And what I wanted to know was, does the Schumann resonance affect our beings, or is it our beings that affect the Schumann resonance?
Okay, here's an answer for your question. Remember, so you'll start with the Schumann frequency theory, and you have an answer and understanding for this moment in time. And tomorrow you have another theory and another understanding. You have an understanding to satisfy an understanding. You have frequency, far more important to understand frequency. Don't worry whose theory is, or is it higher or less. That's not important in the energy vibration. What is important is the nature of the frequency in harmony with your soul and yourself. For you and those individuals who are following this frequency, this resonates with your thinking. It's in your mind because you understand it and it makes sense to you. It won't make sense to many others, only those it resonates with. If you find a frequency of a plant and you feel love for a plant, and that theory or that idea is important, that is the resonance for that individual. Your greatest awareness is the idea of frequency. If it is resonating high or low, what is it trying to show you? You think if it's high, it's got to be greater. But you know, it might be deeper. It might be wider. It might be a different frequency. It doesn't matter what frequency, but it resonates with the individual and the understanding comes from that resonation. If you understand the resonation of frequency, you will then endeavor to align with frequency and resonate with your alignment of natural frequency. So if you wash away the dirt and the theory, you will start to see a vibration and resonating is aligning. So you have a question, and a greater way of becoming aware is just now to check your frequency. And those who are listening, you can check too. I want you to resonate your frequency like a silent hum inside your being. And I want you to imagine it reverberating. And as you breathe in and out, I want you to imagine it going to the edge of your being, your physical form. If you breathe a little more, I would ask you to try and go beyond your skin and go out into what surrounds you. And if you breathe a little more, I would ask you go deeper and go higher. And I would ask you to look at how you are doing, how you are resonating, and how it feels for you. And if you are able to resonate in wholeness greater than before, and you have an awareness greater than before, then you have raised or lowered or developed your frequency. You have pushed through all the issues in your being, in the cells, in the DNA. And you have created a situation in which you have brought more power to self. This power will retain and remain with you the more you do this. So we started with a theory and we ended with alignment. So we just had a little wash with a little soap. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you. It was wonderful. Thank you
You
very much.
have a theory you can make yourself. You believe a man or a woman who writes a theory, even on a computer, could be bigger than you. You live inside yourself. Make your own theory. You can make any theory and you can test it by resonation. You feel powerful, then you don't need theory. You have the energy aligned. The brain is not in the way or creating an issue of understanding. You have connected directly to your soul. Okay. Would you like to ask another question?
Yes, please. So last year, I felt inside my physical body what you could call a humming or a vibration. It felt like little waves in different parts of the body. And I'm not the
Got
only
a little
one
resonance.
who has been
Yeah.
feeling this.
Yes. Last year, you cleaned yourself. You removed some issue. You removed some situation that creates issue. You used your soap.
So that's all it was.
You have come to terms what you've done. You have clicked. If you use a little soap, remove an issue, you will get more humming. You will get more awareness. You will get greater, bigger awareness than ever before. You just got to keep cleaning.
So there's much that we can see if we keep on cleaning. Last year as well, I took a book out the library and I opened up the pages and I couldn't read the words because when I looked at the words, they started going into 3D and I
Yes.
thought I was crazy.
You are crazy. You need to just accept and align with crazy. What you found was another way to resonate. You found yourself resonating with wood. You also found that you had an issue because you tried to read in human understanding. You have just explored the idea of human understanding and its limitations. You don't need it to resonate in alignment. You just be crazy. You read the words as they vibrate. Even forget to read words and just vibrate. You will find much more than you ever found before. But you will find it in a way that's you, rather than a way that's controlled by the thoughts of other people. When you look at a book, you have the ideas of an individual written on pages. If you follow a book, you follow the person. Why is individuals who are spiritual following the wisdom of one? Why do they not follow oneness inside themselves? Oneness. Why is a greater person the person who wrote a book? The person who wrote a book was silly enough to spend many, many hours putting the words on the paper. They put their thoughts on paper, not their vibration or their alignment. They never can. You want to follow yourself, don't read so many books.
And because I thought I was going crazy, I walked outside and I decided to listen to a podcast and I put my headphones on. But as the lady spoke, suddenly the words became huge shards of colored light in the sky. So it was like it was a totally different frequency. Something was happening.
You're asking me a question or telling me your revelation.
I want to know what you think it was.
You just want to understand. but you
Yes.
already understand its time. You want acknowledgement. You're not crazy, but you know you are crazy. You want to know you are aligned, but you're not sure because you need to understand. What would you like me to say to help you understand you are crazy and aligned? There is no way to do it but accept. You just understand you are crazy, aligned individual, and be more crazy than before and try to resonate even greater. If this world was crazy, it would not be so controlled and the frequency would resonate so much better. In the nature, you don't have such controls. You have alignment. In the climate, you don't have such control. You have alignment. Why is a human greater than these things? Why is there a need to always understand? This need and desire has limited human growth, their ability to resonate. It creates stress. Stress is creating unhealthy environment, not only for human, but for all of those around. This incident at this time is created through stress. You overpopulate a community, you create stress, and you will find these things happen in your world many times. This has occurred. A disease or an epidemic has occurred once stressed nations are forced to face reality. And you know what is the most fundamental vulnerable individual? Human. You don't find it animal, you find it human. Human is stressing human by trying to understand everything. You should just be free and enjoy life as the soul set out to do.
But it's very difficult for humans to do that in this current climate. Many are apprehensive that they might still not be able to own their own homes. They don't have jobs to go back to. There is real fear. So, what can you tell us in order to help these individuals as best as possible to try and mitigate the fear?
It's not easy for a human to understand what they cannot see, nor is it easy for them to trust what they know to be right, but do not understand. This is a time of trusting the knowing and following the frequency rather than understanding being the greatest force that sets the pathway for the future. When you look at your knowing inside yourself, you begin to become aware it will be okay. And if you look a little further in the future, you will find there is a frequency of fun, of positiveness arising very, very fast. But this frequency will arise in a different form, unpredictable form. This is where the knowing is strong and the understanding is weak. The fear comes from letting go of the understanding and allowing the knowing to be in control. Humans do not like this question. The understanding is in charge constantly. But when you go to sleep, you don't have any understanding, you just sleep. And in the knowing, you wake in the morning and it's okay. You have to go to sleep and wake up. You will find it wakes up with you, and the new dawn brings a new life. It has many features similar and many features are different. What was your benchmark? The features in your life you considered important may change. And what greater features will come is yet to be seen. Already you have seen cooperation, collaboration, and mutual achievement occurring, breaking of barriers and the wisdom of individuals to become one. Individuals in this way of thinking always have been like this. You have to just go to sleep knowing you are right. What is fear? Fear is where your mind and your emotions do not agree. You want to do something or say something, but you can't. And your emotions run ragged inside you, trying to create for you a greater awareness, almost like a projector on a movie screen, show you an answer. But when you have no answer, the emotions have a crazy moment trying to find anything to highlight. Most individuals at this point in time just need to go to sleep and not try to find an answer. You have to trust the universe will find you tomorrow and the next day, and the answers will come as it finds you, not you have to find them. This is a realignment of time, and you will find yourself in a space having to relinquish your control and power and allow the universe to support you. It always has supported you, but you don't think so. You think you are in charge. So fear, greatest fear is not being in charge, not being in control. That is the best position to find knowing. People will know what to do. They will know if really in trouble. You will find most individuals know it will be okay. The knowing is guiding them. You will find very few individuals is panicking, is worried so much, is absolutely distressed. Why is there such calm when it should be turmoil? And you will find most individuals aligned have a feeling in the future it will be so much better. So let the issues fall, let the structures change, let the soap take over forms like business and capitalism, and let the energy of alignment rise into this space and create a formidable future that will support you even longer than the current one. You could not survive in this current climate for much more. You were destined to face into difficult times even greater than this. It was getting tumultuous throughout the world and throughout the planet. And you would find the ecosystems inside the planet starting to distress and become overwhelmed by human function and process. Had you not had a moment to rethink, to resurrect ideas of greater value, to reevaluate your values, you will not align this earth to a future that will be positive. You would follow a similar pathway to a destiny that is a little one of despair. You can form a future if you follow the knowing that is greater than ever before. You can have happy, hospitable people engaging with each other without the animosity of systems that invade their space. You can have relationships that are true and people living in real worlds rather than creating parodies and falsehoods throughout their life. You can find what is failing and let it fall, and what is blooming and encourage it to grow. Have no fear. Just go to sleep and wake tomorrow like other individuals do. You have to just sleep on it. Do you have another question?
And what of our climate change?
You have no need to worry about climate change. The climate change by itself, this is the universal energy. You have, think about people change. You have concept of climate change creating confusion for people. It was designed to create confusion in the minds of people to form other functions and processes. It's already doing this. As this moment occurs, it will become prevalent, a forming of understanding that will invade the philosophies of many leaders. This is very appropriate at this time. It's just an excuse, climate change. Reality, change, and alignment is the answer.
Thank you. Now, do you mind if I ask any of the participants here this evening if they have a question?
I don't mind. In this form, there is no mind. I don't mind.
So we've got many people. We've got Sean and Elaine and Joanne and Miguel. We've got Lily and Anna and Barbara and Lynette and Tamati and Chris. Are there any of you that would like to ask a question? Miguel, would you like to ask a question?
Well, I have many ideas coming through my mind. In particular, it made me think quite a lot about books. I've been guided, I would tend to say, to get into many books that have helped me greatly to advance in a journey that otherwise for me was very unusual, complicated, dark, and not one I could believe that easily. And still to this day, I get some guidance to refer to some books. So
okay,
I guess the question,
let me talk to you now. You are a very intelligent young man. You had to find the books to occupy your mind. Do you understand?
yes.
You will keep finding the books to occupy your mind. Keeps your mind occupied, then you can do your work. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
So this book is not the greatest value, but it keeps your mind occupied. You have then developed a great intellectual capacity to explain this energy, to explain this knowing, because you have a myriad of symbols and statements in your mind. You will be able to talk the frequency where others cannot. Just keep filling up your mind with as many things as possible, even random ideas. Don't worry, they don't make sense. One day they will be useful.
Yeah.
It's like going to a library and you have the ability to find something to explain it. Your greatest work will be using your understanding, in your case, knowing, and excelling in this way, you will be able to show others how to find the way. You are driven, young man, as a leader. Is this not true?
It is totally true, and thank you very much.
You have no choice but to lead. But to lead, you have to show intellectual capacity and you know what you're talking about. So in the space you will lead, you have to look intellectual. This is the reason for the book.
Thank you.
If you look at lives of many individuals who are spiritual, they follow a similar pathway. They gather a lot of information. Then they experience a lot of feelings, emotional disturbance in their life. All of those become a repertoire of symbols to be able to explain what you cannot explain. They become a frequency bank that's used when you have to explain to others. Somehow the knowing becomes words. It's important that all those who are seers and seekers gain as much intellectual and emotional capacity as possible. The greater ability you have in this area, the more you can do with others. You are able then to interpret the frequency and give advice to many others because of what you have inside. Don't doubt yourself, young man. Just lead and let all that you know inside come out.
Very good. Thank you so much.
You have
Miguel, any
thank
other
yourself,
question?
not to thank me. You have given yourself acknowledgement who you are. Just align, use yourself, okay?
Yes.
Sometimes the simple idea is most important. Even all the books don't have the simple truth. When you get simple truth, you know you have it. It's like a seed of joy. That is what you should share with others. You can read 1,000 books to find an idea that you must share. This is the nature of a spiritual journey. Just keep walking.
Miguel, is that all you need to know?
I think the obvious answer is no, but I would like to let others participate, and I will also digest a bit more, and then I can come back.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
You know, Mr. McGill, you mentioned digestion. You take in a lot of things and you let it all out. It's not designed for the body to hold it. Just think about this. This is the nature of anything. In your frequency, you're not designed to hold on to it. Sometimes human has got it wrong, trying to hold on to everything. Just digest it. We have another friend.
There doesn't seem to be anybody at the moment brave enough to step forward.
Okay. So let's take time and return to you. Let's make this the moment and the time we have had in this space. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Tony.
Oh,
Thank you for your time. I think we covered quite a lot this evening, and it'll certainly give us a lot to think about and digest and start talking about on our 4IAM forum. So unless there's anything from the chat room, Tamati said, hi, thank you, Tony, for this beautiful space of openness.
thank
Really
you, Tommy.
appreciate it.
Yeah. I think I can't get my head together to answer your question probably at the moment. Not even a question, I just got that all wrong. Yeah, it's about being open, I think. It's about trying to be as open as possible and just speaking into the space. Yeah. Whatever comes, we've got to follow. You know, it's quite a spontaneous time coming up, I think.
Well, you know, the energy that came through you
Yeah.
basically was quite happy to say that I was crazy.
Oh, really?
And then I must enjoy my craziness.
Neil, just sorry for the interruption, but I think it would have said the same about everyone here.
It's nice to see some other people out there. Yeah. I think it's more crazy in my space sitting here and just actually talking to a screen, you know, in a lockdown situation. It's like, this seems bizarre, really.
Yeah.
Bizarre's okay.
So I'm just unmuting people in case they've got something that they would like to say.
There was a moment there where I almost went into meditation, and then I got a big shock. Like a shock just woke me up.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what that means.
You went into a deep space, Tamati, and then you come out of it.
Yeah, it was spontaneous. It just woke me up, and then all of a sudden, ding dong. I don't know what that sound was, but it came from Jill.
Oh, there'll be the thing on the computer. Yeah, that's what happens as well. I've got some thoughts in my head around that, but I don't know whether I'm channeling or not. But sometimes when we try to meditate, we don't need to spend an hour trying to get an answer. And my advice to you is you can just get it like that. So why don't you just try? You know, instead of spending half an hour trying to find a rock to put on and go off into a Zen space, we can spend a moment just blacking out and going, oh, and I've got an aha, and all of a sudden it happens. So my technique is aha. When it clicks, it gets aha in my brain, and it seems like it fits every single answer. And one of the other things I would teach if I'm teaching a group is, you know, you have that question and it goes round and round in your head and you're not sure, you got an answer, and you put it down and you still got the same question tomorrow, or it goes swings, or you've got yes, no, I'm going to do this, no, I'm not going to do this, yes, I'm going to do this. Or the other one is it's so complicated that it's got, you know, I can't do this because I've got 5, 6 things going on. What I know is none of them are the right answer for me spiritually and emotionally. I have to find aha. And if I don't get it, I tell myself, I give it an answer, I say it's chocolate fish or it's a green frog or something. My brain just doesn't like it. It does, you know, it knows I'm playing with it. And then it goes, okay, and then it goes to sleep. And then the answer comes tomorrow. And what I do is ask the universe, and I go, you guys need to tell me, you need to show me. And I'm really dumb, and I'll hear it in a song or I'll hear it somewhere, but you need to show me more than once. And then if it's like that, I'm going to do it. So what I've learned, and what I was probably going to try and say to you, is you don't have to spend hours meditating. You've got it. Just find a quick pathway to pick it up, because you don't have time, mate. You have to pick up things faster and faster. Does that make sense to you, mate?
Well, they need to sort their technology out. They really...
What about the technology, my friend? We had some problems with technology ourselves as well. So trying to come on me and really practice.
It's interesting working with it's interesting working with the technology when you're used to working with a group, isn't it? And it's quite a different feeling. And what I found was sitting down doing the work as opposed to I often stand and work. It was quite a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we relate what we're just doing now and even where I am, it might be someone needs to mute their microphone a bit.
Yes.
But we decided to do this in December, wasn't it, Jill? And so we had a meeting in Coromandel. We said, we're just going to do it. And we had to learn a lot of stuff. In fact, we didn't even really know how to play with Facebook in the background. And over the last 4 months, we've had some very trying times talking about IT, and all of us trying to work out how we're going to do it. But we're just giving it a go, and we seem to be supported, and we just got to give it a go a bit further. And what we want to do is just bring spiritually minded people into a community and tell them to give it a go as well, because if we can ripple something out there and you go and affect 10% of the people around you, we'll make a big shift. And for a long time as a spiritual person, and even doing clairvoyance on stage and stuff like that, I was having an impact, but not having that shift. And it's that shift I think we need to make. And I think we need to shift greater than just messages and readings and stuff. We need to get inside people's heads or give them a real understanding that they can work with, or knowledge or whatever we need. I don't quite have the answer yet, but as a team, that's what we're going to give it a go. And you guys are part of our team as well. Anyone sitting, listening, anyone on the site, we're all part of the same community. Just because we're leading it doesn't mean we're in charge of it.
Tony, I totally agree, and that's what we're trying to do as well. We're doing morning teas with people from all around the country and doing all sorts of things on Zoom as you're doing, and I think it's fabulous because it's the way to build a spiritual community throughout New Zealand, and I think there's such a need. So
Yeah,
it's fabulous what you're doing.
Lovely idea, this morning teas. And I'm sure people here would love to come to your morning tea if you invited us. I've got to work, but the other
You're very welcome.
Yeah. One of the things, we started off thinking, all of us have got different philosophies, and so which philosophies we follow? I was just going to drop us in at the end saying how different we are, but what I can say is some believe in planets and some don't. Hey, Jill. And what
aliens, galaxies, and dimensions.
And dimensions and stuff like that, and I don't get into that, except when I've got my eyes closed, maybe. But it makes no difference. We all have a common bond, and if we stop talking about Reiki or a technique or something and just relate to each other as spiritual individuals, it's amazing. And let the person go off and use whatever they want to do their own thing, and they talk to you about something different, just say, that's not my space, but I really value what you're doing. And that's what I'm trying to create, is not walls and barriers, or we're trying to create, not just me. The whole team's trying to create. What do you think?
Totally agree. I totally agree with everything you're saying. And I think the more different ways there are out there to bring people into the community, the better. And like you say, some people believe in one thing, some people believe in another. What does it matter? It's if you're coming from your heart, if you're in that love space, and you're working to build a community that's caring.
And that's another thing, and I remember sort of watching when Tamati come on here. I hope you don't mind me saying that, Tamati. But it's that community, and it doesn't matter where a person comes from, whatever. There is no real space for us to share and be equal to each other. There's hierarchies, and there's places to go to, there's events and fairs and stuff. But it's almost like we're a sideshow. And I've always thought that this is my life. So why should we be a sideshow or Sunday thought or something like that? Let's just live this. And if you come from an angle or a culture or whatever, just join us. Just be all part of it. We'll join you as well. The barrier is in my brain. That's all it is.
And get rid of the labels, because the moment we start putting labels on, we divide people. Doesn't matter. We're all one.
Yeah, we are. I'm not sure what we're going to call ourselves, though, if we have no label.
It's an interesting one.
Barbara, I'm going to really irritate Tony now, because I'm going to actually mention a fruit, a banana. He said, don't speak about oranges and bananas and whatever. But I think this clearly will explain it. So, so I said to my guides, I channel and I do readings, I do all those things, but I haven't had any training. So as a result, I felt that I was less than. So I thought, well, should I be doing tarot then? Should I get cards? Should I get a pendulum? Is that going to make me better? Is that going to make me more credible? And their answer was so simple and so fabulous. And what they said was, when you get a banana, you can eat it. Stop it, Tony. You can eat it with your fingers, or you can use tools as such. You can use the knife and fork and you can eat it that way. But what difference does it really make? It's the end result. Are you going to get the nutrients in, right?
Yep.
So whether you are Reiki, whether you do tapping, whether you do IQM, a list of names as long as your arms, does it actually really matter? It is the end result. And I don't believe that one person is more important than another. We're all part of a puzzle, and we're all here to get on with it and enjoy ourselves. So let's rather do that. Let's support each other. Tony does transfiguration and the channeling. There are not many people that can do that. I think it's just fantastic. But is it actually any better than somebody else? It's different.
No.
Anyway, that's all I've got to say.
Yeah, I totally agree.
What I would say here, at least from my own experience, is that oftentimes we all have amazing gifts, and we tend to sometimes, or at least at some points, I have believed that that gift would have the ultimate truth, right? But if you just pass that, use the soap as this phenomenal metaphor we have taken together today, and you just allow yourself to observe what happens when another person comes into the picture. I'm sure you guys would relate, and if not, please pay attention. You always get a better result. You always get a better result the moment somebody else comes into the picture, and it has nothing to do with the level of consciousness of that person. And so coming together to the labels, I think sometimes labels can be useful to explain a circumstance, but it can be also as useful to quickly introduce what's the intentions behind why you're trying to explain something. And for me, from where I stand here in Switzerland, what I've seen out of the 4IAM universe is the real intention to generate that ripples that would take together the community and raise it up. Because at the end of the day, we can have 100 of spiritual groups, but if we use it as a niche, the repercussions are somehow limited. And so intention for me is key in whatever it is we try to do. We come from different angles. We have phenomenal array of strengths, and that allows us to understand a much wider number of people, see where they are, what kind of help can they get to go in the search themselves. Because at the end of the day, we don't have the answers for them. Each person has his or her own answers. And that's, for me, that's definitely a truth. So anything we do on that, and I'm very grateful to you guys, what you're doing with 4IAM Universe, because it's absolutely superb. I'm in many other groups and trying to see the difference. And yeah, it's amazing.
But without you, Miguel, we don't have a group.
Oh, no. No.
You see, without everybody. That's what makes us.
Yeah.
So thank you, Miguel. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it, Jill. But here I would definitely, and here I would say, I will do my best as long as I'm here, but everyone is replaceable so long as people remain united. And that's the beauty, I think. So anyways,
I look forward to coming to Switzerland.
One of the interesting phenomena that you just talked about is the way we think. My profession is an education guy. And so I know that in the brain that to understand things or look at things, we often have to define things in stereotype, which means that we look at a male and we make an assumption that all males are the same. And then we look at a male that's older, we make that assumption, then a male that's a teacher. We go down that pathway because the brain just can't understand if we don't do it like that. And it's easy if we follow the same pathways. Now, people hate the idea of stereotyping, but I don't think our brain could cope if every single signal was completely different. So when we relate to each other, that's what we do. We relate often by our credentials and say something like, you know, I'm a Reiki master. And then you sort of bow down and you go, you know, 10 hallelujahs and the rest of it. Sorry if anyone's out there's a Reiki master, because I'm not trying to put you down. But there is a credential that says something, and then you know the parameters around it. But when we created 4IAM, we were sitting in a conversation. Jill and her bananas was talking to us, and she's talked to us about the bananas and oranges many times. And so that's why I'd laugh, because she's trying to explain things. It's like the apples and the oranges or the bananas. She's got pineapple as well. So one day you'll get that. And we were going for it, and she said, I want to do the discourse is what she wants to do. And it was the forum. And I said, well, the forum sounds too official, and it sounds like a great big arena, like a Roman arena or something. And so we went 4 a.m. and we couldn't get away from it. And we went to the ferry to come back from Coromandel, where we just went somewhere isolated in a way. And we argued in the car whether we should change the name to something completely different. And we had all sorts of ideas, and we got to the car and we spent 24 hours on it, and we didn't get away from it. We came back. And 4 a.m. means everything but nothing. And just like you were talking there, McGill, is about coming in from another way, coming in from another place, and communicating differently, not through the same parameters we normally do, through controlled ideas and patterns, coming from heart, coming from knowing, is very interesting. So we've had people try to convince us what 4 a.m. means, what the 4 means, what I am mean. And in the end, we just let them go with whatever they think it is, because it's like that. And we had this complaint that we had the word 4 a.m. followers, and they wanted the universe. And once we did that, then we just went out internationally to anybody, and that's what it is. It's just open. So if anyone's got any ideas about 4 a.m., feel free to express them, like bananas and things like that. But that's what it is, and yet it's greater than that. It's like something else that's symbolic of this universal energy, and it doesn't have to have a title. And we can just all talk to each other in the same language by talking through a frequency or something. And it's possible then we could actually just align with each other without having the interference of who we are or what we are, where we've been, our experiences. And that's probably where we can make the biggest shift, I think. Not worry about what a person looks like or their experience or their money or anything like that. Just relate, just absolutely relate.
But nevertheless, I'll tell you that there's definitely a frequency associated with every name you see, and every set of numbers and hours of posts and duration of videos. And you don't need to turn paranoid, but definitely there's a numerological framework that if somebody's curious enough can be understood. And it's it's beautiful to see. But as you say, it's just a facade. That's not the important part.
Well, in the end, we'll just keep breaking that frequency or shifting it around. So when they think they've got us interpreted, they'll have to try and work us out again, because that's the nature of being a little bit crazy, Jill, that you never quite know what's coming out next. Okay, team, I think I've done my time spent with you. I've really enjoyed spending some time there, Jill. Thanks for setting this up this time. And soon we'll get to see your bananas in action. And then Michelle's coming as well, isn't she?
Thank you.
Thank you all.